Welcome to our video notes on animal behaviors for reproduction. So first, we should make sure we understand what a behavior is. So when we say the word behavior, what are we talking about? So a behavior is the way an organism reacts to changes in its internal conditions or its external environment. Like body structures, the behavior of animals are adaptations that have evolved over long periods of time. So there's two types of behaviors we're going to think about. The first type of behavior is called an instinct. An instinct is a response to a stimulus that is inborn, and the animal performs it correctly the very first time they do it. A good example of this is when sea turtles hatch from their eggs, the babies know by instinct to travel towards the ocean. Right? No one has to tell the babies, go to the ocean when you've hatched. In fact, the female sea turtle lays her eggs and then leaves the beach. So there's no adult sea turtles there to tell the babies where to go. They need that instinct, that natural drive to go to the ocean. The second type of behavior are learned behaviors. So when it comes to learning, this is a process that leads to changes in behavior based on practice or experience. An example, raccoons, they learn how to open garbage can lids and can become really skilled at this. They're not necessarily born knowing how to open a garbage can, but they can learn. What's the goal of these behaviors? Two goals for almost all animal behaviors: survive, reproduce. When an animal looks for food or hides from a predator, it is doing something that helps it survive and stay alive. When an animal searches for mates and builds nests for their young, they're behaving in ways that help them reproduce. So, how do animals actually find mates? Remember, when animals mate, a male animal fertilizes the female egg cells with his sperm cells. So that's what you're seeing in this picture up top. The fertilized egg will eventually develop into a new organism. This process is an important part of ensuring the continued survival of a species. Scientists believe that the drive to reproduce evolved in organisms over time as a way to ensure the success of their species and pass on their own individual genes. We have different systems or ways that animals go about finding a mate and producing offspring. So a mating system is considered the behavior patterns related to how animals mate. And they vary from species to species. There are a huge variety of mating systems in the animal kingdom. We may have only one mate with just one other organism for a period of time, and that can range from just one season or their entire lives. And we call that being monogamous. An example of an animal that is monogamous would be beavers. You could have one female with multiple male mates. And an example of that with just one female, which would be the queen, in honeybees. And then all of the worker bees are males. So one female, multiple male mates. You can also have one male with multiple female mates at one time. An example of that would be baboons. So in this picture, we have a male baboon with a group of female mates that are part of his baboon troop. Females and males can also have multiple mates during any given time. Scientists believe that these different mating systems evolved over time to best meet the needs of each particular species. Communication. Animals communicate in many ways using sound, scent, and body movement. Often, the goal of communication is reproduction. Remember, two things that animal behavior is used for: survival, reproduction. Sound. Sound is a great way that animals communicate. An example might be birds singing. There's a lot of reasons they may sing, but one of the big ones is to attract a mate. Whales are another organism that produce complex songs that are learned and shared. Another way that animals communicate is using chemicals. Many animals use chemical scents to send messages. An important term to know here are pheromones. Pheromones are chemicals released by one animal that affects the behavior of another animal of that same species. An example, many species of moths, the female releases a pheromone into the air that signals to the male moths that she's ready to mate. Competition. Animals compete for resources such as food and water. They also compete for access to mates, which may involve displays of aggression. So, aggression is a threatening behavior that one animal uses to intimidate or dominate another animal. Another way that animals may compete is maintaining territories. So, establishing and maintaining a territory means that you have an area that you occupy and you defend it from other animals or groups of animals. An animal that is defending its territory will drive other animals away that may compete with it for mates.